Welcome. Today we're going to be doing a warm oil scalp massage, also known as Shiro Abhyanga. Shiro means head, and Abhyanga means oil massage. So before we start, here are some things that you're going to need. First, your oil, and it's going to be warm. Like warm so that when you put it on your head, it shouldn't be colder than the temperature on your scalp. What I do is I boil water and I pour it in a bowl, and then I sit my jar of oil inside the bowl for about 15 minutes so the oil warms up really nicely. And of course, check the temperature on your hand before to make sure that it's not too hot and it's not too cold. Now, the type of oil that's used, there's many different options. You can either purchase our hair and scalp oil that we make here at Vital Living Wellness. It's filled with really wonderful herbs that are cooked into the oil. You can also use coconut oil, especially for those of you who tend to be hot or have a hot head. You can use coconut oil. Sweet almond oil is also a really nice oil to use for your hair. Please use organic oil and, if possible, cold pressed oil. I also have a hair covering so that when I'm finished, I can wrap up my hair and let my hair, the oil soak in my hair until I'm ready to wash it out. And I really like to have my Shiro Abhyanga practice be really like a very special ritual because I only do it twice a week. You can do it more if you'd like, but twice a week is really ideal. So when I go to do my Shiro Abhyanga, I make sure that I'm warm. I have a heater on in here. I make sure there's no drafts in my room. And I also will often play music and light a candle. So I'm going to light a candle now. Everything that we do in our self-love practice is, or should be at least, done with intention. So I'm lighting this candle with the intention of allowing myself to let go of everything that I was doing prior to this. And may I allow myself to come into this present moment. I always keep a towel close by too for spilling of the oil. So I'll take my hair down. We're starting with the hair dry. Shiro Abhyanga is one of the ways, the recommendations in Ayurveda to help relieve stress and anxiety. And it certainly does that. Okay. So I'm just shaking my oil around because there's herbs in here and I want to make sure that they're all mixed about. And I'm just testing the temperature and it's really nice and warm. So I'm going to pour the oil into the palm of my hand. And then I'm going to place this on the crown of my head. And placing the other hand on top, pausing for a few breaths. And I'm going to move my hand in a circular pattern on the top of my head. It's like I'm moving the scalp. And already I can feel my nervous system starting to relax. And I'm going to just rub it in a little bit more and then add more oil. And I'm going back a little further this time. One hand on top of the other. I'm moving the scalp around, creating just a little bit of space between the scalp and the muscles underneath the scalp. And then rubbing my hands down, getting the oil into the hair, and just keep applying more oil until you feel like you've got plenty. And I'm just going to go back even a little further and move the scalp around. And then take both of your hands on the sides of your head. So run your fingers through your hair on the sides of your head. Palms are against your scalp, and rub in a circular pattern. Again, moving your scalp in the circular pattern, not necessarily trying to move your hair or move your whole head, just the scalp. And I'm going to rub more oil in the hair now. If you're doing this massage in the morning, like before you take a shower, maybe this is more of an uplifting, energetic, wake up type of massage for your scalp, especially if your mind feels lethargic or just not quite capable of formulating thoughts. Maybe you have something big going on later on in the afternoon and you want to be able to have your mind be alert and awake, but in a calm way. And if you're doing this at nighttime, perhaps this is more for allowing your mind to quiet down and let go of the day and prepare for sleep. So there's different techniques, but the one that I'm going to show you today is one that I learned from Kerala Ayurveda Academy in California. There are many points along the scalp or on the scalp called marma points or energy points. You don't have to know the names of them. We'll start by taking the pads of our fingers, not the fingernails, but the pads of the fingers right here at the, imagine this is like your mohawk line from the middle all the way down your head, all the way down the back of your head in the middle. So we're going to take the pads of the fingers starting at the front, and we're going to go in a zigzag back and forth movement, and we're going to go all the way along that mohawk line. And when we take this pattern along the scalp, we are getting many of those really important marma points that help to bring relaxation. And we're going to start back here, and we're just going to keep doing that several rounds. And you can apply the amount of pressure that feels appropriate for you. Remember, if it's the morning, maybe this is a little bit more vigorous and fast. If it's nighttime, maybe it's slower, it's deeper. So tailor it to your needs. Going along that mohawk line in a zigzag pattern. Let's do that one more time. I always regret speaking while I'm doing this massage. I always say to myself, I'm going to do a voiceover because it's so difficult to talk while I'm doing this massage because I'm so relaxed that the words are they're so hard to come out. Okay, so you've done the little zigzags along the mohawk line of your scalp. Now we're going to do, with the pads of our fingers, little circular motions along the hairline. So we'll start in front and we're going to let our hands separate away from each other. And we'll take our time too so that you can stay in one place for several rounds. You can go slow. I'm doing this in the day, so I'm going a little faster, but it still should feel relaxing. So all along the hairline. And if you need to add more oil, go for it. I'm oil queen. I always use way more than I need to. So if you want to use more oil, go for it. The oil is so good for the scalp. It's good for your hair. It can promote hair growth. It can prevent your hair from falling out prematurely. So again, we're going along the hairline. And we're going to do that 2 more times, so a total of 3 times. I do usually everything in 3s. So the pads of the fingers in circular motion along the hairline. And using your breath too, giving yourself long, slow, deliberate breaths. And then one last time. If you tend to have headaches, migraines, this Shiro Abhyanga practice can really help with that. Okay, so the zigzags, the circular motion around your hairline, and then we're gonna take a little bit more oil. And don't be alarmed if some of your hair falls out. That's natural as you're doing this. I'm going to rub the oil on my hands and I'm going to slide my fingers in my hair and I'm going to make like a little fist and then slide my fist out. So it's like I'm gently pulling my hair, and I'm going to do this along the sides. It shouldn't hurt. It should feel good. I'm going to do the top. So now we're spreading all of the oil into the hair. Can you feel the circulation in your scalp? Yes, I certainly can. If you are experiencing any kind of sores on your scalp or any kind of infections or open wounds on your scalp, avoid the scalp massage with oil. Wait until those things heal and then you can do this practice. If you're sick, skip this practice as well. Just wait until you're better and then you can do it. So I'm going to do this one more round. Again, it's like you're pulling your hair, but the emphasis really comes when you're close to your scalp, and then you kind of lighten up a bit as your hands move through your hair moves through your hands. So when our scalp has good circulation, there's so many awesome benefits, right? Our mind is more clear. Our brain is, it works better. We can retain information better, um, I can't even talk right now because I'm so relaxed, but when we have better circulation, our hair and scalp are healthier as well. Okay. Now, you can make this massage as long as you'd like. You can do it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But a couple of things when you are finished, you'll want to wrap your hair up. You want to make sure your head is covered so that you're not exposing your head to cold or wind. So that's why I have this cover here. It's like a terry cloth hair cover. And when to do this practice, morning is ideal, but if you're wanting to do it for more of relaxation, quieting the mind, calming the nervous system down, you want to do that at nighttime before you go to bed, go for it. Do the practice at nighttime, but avoid washing your hair before you go to sleep. Instead, cover your head. And with something like this, it's really nice and snug, so it's not going to fall off unless you're a wild sleeper, but ideally it stays on, and then you can wash your hair in the morning. Going to bed with a wet hair and a wet scalp can be very disturbing for the mind when you're trying to go to sleep, and that's the last thing that we want when we're going to bed. How long should you leave the oil in your hair? Well, if at nighttime you're going to sleep with it overnight, that's fine. But if you're doing this in the day, in the morning, a minimum of 20 minutes to let the oil really penetrate. But ideally, if you can keep it in for about an hour or two, that would be ideal. And then you wash your hair afterwards. Bringing it into your daily self love practice 2 times a week. If you want to do it more, then go for it. And thank you so much for joining me today.